Welcome back to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. Couple new Q posts for you. We're going to talk about these and a little bit about the IG report. So let's get right into it. Okay, 12:28 a.m. We have this here. This is in reference to a Q post from May 21st. And it's entitled 3, 2, 1, Rod Rowe. Rod Rowe being Rod Rosenstein. All right. In double brackets, Rod Rosenstein approved, signed FISA warrant applications to extend surveillance on POTUS. Others. What evidence to support? Snowball. Rod Rowe at the White House. Why was Rachel Brand removed? Critical thinking. Q. 55 minutes past the hour of 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. What is taking so long with the Inspector General's report on crooked Hillary and slippery James Comey? Numerous delays. Hope report is not being changed and made weaker. There are so many horrible things to tell. The public has the right to know. Transparent. And this is called App 060518 POTUS. All right. Okay, so before we move forward, I want to take you back to the last post, and I just want to remind you that as we saw the IG report come out, we already know that this was the number 3 version. Okay, we had a few different versions. Now, keep in mind, I want to take Rod Rosenstein out of the picture for just a second. Okay, meaning that we have one, the original IG unredacted report. That's the whole thing right there, the whole enchilada. That's the Whopper with cheese. Okay, then we have the modified IG unredacted report. I would assume that is all the brutal stuff, but what's modified is probably names and things like that. That, for the sake of public safety, might be modified to get released. Then we have number 3, the modified IG redacted report, and that's what we got. Okay, everything that's redacted and modified, the softball. And then, of course, there were the IG summary notes regarding obstruction to obtain select info, which is also important. That's all classified. Okay, now for 2 and 3, we have Rod Rosenstein's version of those things. So we know that Rod Rosenstein has manipulated this. And as of Q's post, we now know what the known conflict is. Rod Rosenstein is covering up for some of his own misdoings. Okay, so keep that in mind as we talk about this. Now we'll move on to this post. And if I may, actually, let me just take you over here. I'm going to side by side these. Excuse me. This is the post from today where I'm circling around. And then this is the May post that is next to it. Okay, let's look at the May post first. We're just going to kind of cruise through this. Military Op Green, General K, that's John F. Kelly, full disclosure, general statement. Once the extremely guarded and highly classified information is finally revealed to House investigators, DNI, public, etc., Rod Rowe must recuse or forcefully terminated. And of course, Q mentioned that yesterday in this post as well too. Immediate impeachment, resignation, termination, or recusal if ever brought to light. Well, it has been brought to light now. We know this, and we can see this from this post. We know it because there's a version of Rod Rosenstein, and then there's the actual version. So that's a problem. That's a conflict. Sorry, I'm scrolling around here. All right. So, immediate impeachment, very possible. Resignation, likely. Termination, I don't think so. I don't think that's good for Trump's optics. But it's possible. And then, of course, there's a recusal, which would weird the situation out. But I guess it is possible. It may try to make him seem like he's trying to look innocent or whatever. But either way, Q wants us to get louder and louder and louder. We don't want to look at this number 3 softball. We don't want what we got today. Okay? We're going to talk about that a little bit. But we all know that that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for number 1. We want the Whopper with cheese. All right. Now let's take you back here. That's a big problem, okay? Because now we know that Rod Rosenstein must recuse or he's going to forcefully be terminated because it's tainted. And that's a big, big problem. Well, what was the Senate confirmation vote? I don't remember. It was in the 90s. It was a ton. It was a big, big number, okay? With a couple people against him. He was popular. He was Rod Rowe. Rod Rowe was good to go. Wray reports to Rod Rosenstein. Important fact. It is an important fact because Christopher Wray we can trust. And if he's reporting to somebody that we know is going to manipulate these reports, then that's not going to work for us. Well, who do you trust? Well, we trust Wray. We trust Sessions, right? Trust Huber. Trust Pompeo. Rod Rosenstein, recused, fired. Who has direct oversight of Mueller? Whoever would be next in line. Now, Session could unrecuse. I suppose it's possible. I don't know if it's likely. Or number 3 until refill, and that's Rachel Brand. Okay. Why was Rachel Brand dismissed? You remember, Rachel Brand, if we take you down here, this was on May 5th. Might be 4th for you guys. Rachel Brand, Associate Attorney General, number 3, official behind Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, fired, forced. So she was out. But she told us that she left for Walmart. Remember? Global governance. She was all about Walmart. She could have had the number 3 position to be investigating Trump. Instead, she's at Walmart investigating low prices. You remember this. All right. So now, Q says, think timing. The succession question is actually a bit complicated by default under an obscure statute known as the Vacancies Reform Act of 1998. Brand's temporary successor as the acting Associate Attorney General is her principal deputy, Jesse Panuccio. That same statute would also allow the president to choose someone else to serve as the acting AAG on a temporary basis for up to 210 days. The pool of individuals from which the president could draw in this case includes individuals already holding Senate-confirmed positions elsewhere in the executive branch, like EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt or senior civil service lawyers in the Justice Department specifically. And then Q says acting. And then this was a link to Panuccio. Okay, so Panuccio now is on the clock. When does that clock run out? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but here's my theory. So Rachel Brand is going to be out, was out. She went to Walmart, okay? Now, if Rod Rosenstein has to go, and Rachel Brand's already gone, and Jesse Panuccio's on the clock, then we have to go with whoever is next in line, correct? And I suppose that would be, let's see here, that would be Noel Francisco, current Solicitor General. Now, Noel Francisco was appointed by Trump, so he's a Trump guy. This guy would make the logistical sense. So what I'm saying is it possible that Rachel Brand was let go to put Panuccio on the clock so that when that runs out, coinciding likely with the firing of Rod Rosenstein, now you have Rod Rosenstein gone, number 1. Then you've got Rachel Brand gone. And then you've got Panuccio, whose time is up, which allows a Trump guy to walk into place. Now, if it's this Francisco, there will be no need for Senate approval. That's the way it works. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, this article says it could be somebody like EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt. And that's interesting too, seeing as, just as of today, the New York Post reports, it's time for Scott Pruitt to step aside. It's time to test the proposition whether it's possible to roll back the Obama regulatory agenda, without using government employees as glorified personal assistants. Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Scott Pruitt long ago acquired the moniker scandal-plagued in the press. None of his offenses is criminally corrupt. No one is found stuffed in his freezer. Okay. But the corner cutting and grubbiness are unworthy of a high-level government official who should be ever mindful that the money and people at his command aren't truly his. Okay, so it looks like there's some really, really big scandals here, according to the New York Post. I mean, after all, it was possible to look beyond the initial bout of Pruitt stories. Sure, he had a sweet $50 a night condo deal from the wife of an energy lobbyist, but maybe he was simply using a convenient arrangement as he first settled into Washington. Yeah, well, $50 a night is a pretty sweet deal. Okay, he may have reportedly wanted to use the flashing lights of his motorcade to get to Les Diplomats faster, but who among us wouldn't be tempted if we could run traffic lights on the way to our favorite brasserie? Okay, yeah, so big deals with scandal for Pruitt. So interesting timing, right? That the Dems are going after Pruitt all of a sudden this week. And then, of course, back when this actually came out, my original thought was would it be possible that it could be Trey Gowdy? And this is one of the candidates that is running for that seat left by Gowdy. This is Kate Arrington. And Trump was actually stumping for her. So that would leave that spot free. Now, a lot of people have obviously a lot of questions on as far as when it comes to Trey Gowdy, I'm not necessarily sure myself either. But that was the thought at the time. And back in 2015, Trump actually did make a reference to Trey Gowdy for Attorney General. Now, that might be in replace of Jeff Sessions at some point, or in this position. I'm not really sure how that would work out. But that tweet was in 2015, folks. Okay, so the point is it possible that when this clock runs out, there will be no one left to stand in the way of us getting the proper reports and us being able to really, really exercise justice and get the prosecutions that we need? Because now Ray can move forward. Now, is it possible that this position could be Huber? Hard to know. But that would be a possibility too, I suppose. All right, so why is Schneiderman's removal extremely relevant? Well, Eric Schneiderman. Nobody likes Eric Schneiderman. Hits women, wears guy liner. Hey, look, that's cool if you're a rock singer, but not when you're Eric Schneiderman. And he was New York. He was standing in the way of the NXIVM investigation. Very, very important. He was trying to sue President Trump over and over again. Wanted to look into Trump's charities. And so what happens now? There was a bunch of jockeying for that position, wasn't there? And then, of course, now we got this lady here, Barbara Underwood. The Solicitor General of New York will temporarily succeed ousted Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, according to an announcement Tuesday. The move was announced by AG spokeswoman Amy Spitalnik on Twitter hours after Schneiderman resigned in disgrace after he was accused by 4 women of physical abuse. Okay, well, we know this. So she's standing in the way right now, too. And what's she doing? She's suing Trump, picking up where Schneiderman left off. New York Attorney General sues Trump and his children, alleging their charity engaged in persistent illegal conduct. Okay. New York Attorney General Barbara Underwood on Thursday filed a lawsuit against President Donald Trump, his charity, and his children, Donald Jr., Eric, and Ivanka, alleging that the Donald J. Trump Foundation followed a pattern of persistent illegal conduct for more than a decade. The lawsuit claims that the charity engaged in illegal political coordination with Trump's campaign, made multiple self-dealing transactions to benefit Trump personally and his business interests, and violated legal obligations for such nonprofits in New York. Underwood is seeking $2.8 million in restitution plus additional penalties. Okay, so she's not searching for any kind of criminal time. She's not really looking to bust Trump. Looks like she's looking for money. I'm just saying. Well, Schneiderman's removal was extremely relevant. Why? Because that was NXIVM. That was New York. He was blocking that investigation. And if we know anything about this lady, Barbara Underwood, excuse me, I meant to show you her picture. There we go. She's going to block it too. Look, she's got the blocking face on. She's like, no, nothing for you. Nah. All right? So, Barbara Underwood, everybody's making trouble in New York. Now, let's go back to the original post. Rod Rosenstein approved, signed Pfizer warrant applications to extend surveillance on POTUS others. Yeah, that would be the known conflict. Yeah, now he's going to have to recuse, resign, or be fired. What evidence to support? Well, we have the IG report. And we've also got the original IG report. And it's different from the Rod Rowe version. So I'd say that's pretty good evidence to support. And it's going to be a snowball. Yeah, this is going to show that Obama knew about it at the whole time. Rod Rosenstein at the White House. Yeah. Rod Rosenstein's under scrutiny. And it looks like it's his bus stop. It's time to get off, Rod Rosenstein. Why was Rachel Brand removed? Just like we said, critical thinking, Q. And now we've got this next post here, which is a tweet from Donald Trump. What is taking so long with the Inspector General's report on crooked Hillary and slippery James Comey? Numerous delays. Hope report is not being changed and made weaker. There are so many horrible things to tell. The public has the right to know. Transparency. Well, this is a lot what we were kind of talking about yesterday. Donald Trump is clearly signaling to the masses that it's time to make a big noise. And if you remember that Q was telling us, Be loud, be heard, fight for truth. Now, I know a lot of people were really, really bummed out today. I searched a lot of social media. I saw a lot of bummed faces. I saw a lot of people wanting to quit the whole QAnon thing. And, a lot of just general bummed out patriots. And look, I get it. But look, we knew that this was going to be modified. Stick to the plan. I know it's not easy. I know it's taking a while. But it looks like we're on a clock. Now, you don't have to believe that or not. You can do whatever you like. Okay? But at least that's where I think this is where it could be going. And according to this tweet here, Donald Trump is signaling also that we need to be allowed. We need to make the memes, we need to make graphics, and we need to, do all that general social media stuff that we need to do. Flood social media. After all, if you remember, Q said, the White House is already getting under control. We need the social media. That's what's not under control. Okay? Mainstream media. All right? Now, a lot of the, I would say the hard liberal media is really, really suffering these days, but they still have their supporters. But I think more and more social media is really where this is going down. This is a culture war, and we're right in the middle of it, folks. Right in the middle of it. All right, let's move on. All right, well, here it is in all its not so glorious glory. This is the heavily redacted Rod Rowe version, the underwhelming EP with no guitar solos. And as you can see, it's just a little bit of light reading. So kick your feet back and let's begin. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm going to leave it for you to read, but I will give you a couple of highlights. So let's talk about those. Well, we know that this report includes a little bit more insight into some of the texts that were sent between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. And of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg, like Q said. But let me just give you some of the highlights, some of the classic jams. Hey, man, is that Freedom Rock, man? We'll turn it up, man. July 19th, 2016, Page. Trump barely spoke. But the first thing out of his mouth was, we're going to win so big. The whole thing is like living in a bad dream. July 21st, 2016, Strzok. Trump is a disaster. I have no idea how destabilizing his presidency would be. Okay. August 26th, 2016, Strzok. Just went to a Southern Virginia Walmart. I could smell the Trump support. All right. Peter, you're the one that went there. Hey, say hi to Rachel Brand, huh? Global governance, low prices. Those things are good for Gazuber confidence. September 26, 2016, Page. Page sent an article to Strzok entitled Why Donald Trump Should Not Be President, stating, did you read this? It's scathing, and I'm scared. October 19th, 2016, Strzok. I am riled up. Trump is an effing idiot, is unable to provide a coherent answer. Yeah, like Brennan and Comey and McCabe, and we're moving on. November 3rd, 2016, Page. The NYT probability numbers are dropping every day. I'm scared for our organization. November 3rd, 2016, Strzok. Jill Stein and moron Gary Johnson are effing everything up too. That's not, Peter, that's not nice. You should, I know you, look, if you can have a disagreement, but that's not nice. November 7th, 2016, Strzok. Referencing an article entitled A Victory by Mr. Trump Remains Possible, Strzok stated, OMG, this is effing terrifying. November 13th, 2016, Page. I bought all the president's men. Figure I needed to brush up on Watergate. Well, that kind of sums it up really nicely, huh? So we can see that Strzok and Page clearly had themselves a little bias. Let's move on to some of the other FBI agents that we're talking about. Now we got these here between a couple of unnamed agents, I should say, instant messages commenting on Trump or Clinton. On August 29, 2016, Agent 1 and Agent 5 exchanged the following instant messages as part of a discussion about their jobs. The sender of each message is noted after the timestamp. Agent 1, I find anyone who enjoys this job an absolute effing idiot. If you don't think so, ask them one more question. Who are you voting for? I guarantee you it will be Donald Trump. And Agent 5 says, I forgot about Trump. Let me stop right there. Look, it's cool if you want to clown somebody's name, but that's lame. You could have done so better. What about Donald Plump? Donald Dump. Donald Trump? That's not even... It doesn't have an E. Never mind. Agent 5, that's so sad and pathetic if they want to vote for him. Agent 5, someone who can't answer a question. Someone who can't be professional for even a second. Says the guy who called him Donald Trump. You're not supposed to be biased. On September 9th, 2016, Agent 1 and Agent 5 exchanged the following instant messages. Agent 5, I'm trying to think of a would I rather instead of spending time with those people. Agent 1 says, stick your tongue in a fan. Agent 5, I would rather have brunch with Trump. Agent 1, ha. Agent 1, French toast with Trump. Agent 5, I would rather have brunch with Trump and a bunch of his supporters like the ones from Ohio that are retarded. Agent 5 just smiles. All right, see, you blew the joke again. See, now you said brunch with Trump. You should have just committed to it and doubled down on Trump. Brunch with Trump. That sounded cooler. You ruined it both times. These guys are lame and they're biased, but you can see that they're biased, and that's more important than being lame. All right. On November 8th, 2016, Agent 1 and Agent 5 exchanged the following messages. Agent 1, you think HRC is going to win, right? You think we should get nails and some board in case she doesn't? What are you going to do with nails and boards? You going to build a coffin? You going to build a dog house? Agent 5 says she better win, otherwise I'm going to be walking around with both my guns. Ugh, and likely quitting on the spot. So you're going to quit and walk around with your guns? That sounds safe. I thought you guys were all about gun control. Agent 1 says you should know that I'm with her. Ooh, show me the money. And then you got a little clown face. Agent 5 says, screw you, Trump. Whee! Go, baby, go. Let's give her Virginia. Agent 1, not to my country. You can't just get up and try to appeal to all the worst things in humans and fool my country. All the worst things in humans? You mean like human trafficking and stealing and lying and cheating and being biased when you're an FBI agent? Just 49% of us, says Agent 1. Agent 5 says, let's hope it's 49% or less. Agent 5 will find out. Yeah, we'll find out indeed. Agent 1 and Agent 5. And one more quick thing I would like to cover today, as there's going to be lots more coming out from this report. But this was under the heading Hillary Clinton and Foundation Crime Against Children on page 294. And this is where an FBI investigator is testifying, and he's debriefing Comey on the materials that were found during the sex crimes linked intelligence from the FBI's Criminal Investigative Division. And Coleman told us that he regularly took notes in a journal. Coleman's notes from October 4th contained the following entry. Number 1, Anthony Weiner. Number 2, unrelated. Number 3, Weiner texting 15-year-old sexually explicit. 926, Federal SW, iPhone, iPad, laptop. Initial analysis of laptop, thousands of emails. Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crimes against children. We asked Coleman about these notes, and he told us that given their placement in his notebook, the notes would most likely represent information he was briefed on first thing in the morning by his subordinates in the Criminal Investigative Division. Coleman stated that he may have passed this information to other FBI executives after the morning briefing with the director, but he could not remember if that occurred here. Well, that would be something you might want to try and recall, Mr. Coleman. So, big deals, and hopefully this will start shedding some light on Hillary Clinton and her foundation, because we are more than due for that. And finally, we have this tweet from President Donald J. Trump as of 3:55 a.m. The IG report is a total disaster for Comey, his minions, and sadly, the FBI. Comey will now officially go down as the worst leader by far in the history of the FBI. I did a great service to the people in firing him. Good instincts. Christopher Wray will bring it proudly back. Yeah, well, that is true. Now that we see all this relation, and now that we see Rod Rosenstein go down, that is only going to validate Donald J. Trump's reason for firing him in the first place. And it looks like it is time for the rays of light. So hang in there, folks. That is all I have for you today. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. You will be unsubscribed and unclicked and all that, and you will be unnotified. So just keep checking back. I make videos just about every 24 to 48 hours. I take a couple days off in between. So there you have it. Hang in there. I know it was not the IG report that we wanted, but this is the long battle. And it looks like we are definitely on the clock. Looks like Rod Rosenstein is on the clock. We will see what happens there in the meantime. But stay optimistic and keep your heads up
The trolls will be coming out in full force. I've seen them already, so just hang in there. This is Sir Patrick Mack, and until next time, stay optimistic.